Instead of going out of my house on this thoughtful morning, I gazed through the windows of perspective to anticipate. Through a spacious front window of communal obligation and societal responsibility, I see a village that was originally called the village of our community. The village started some time ago when the elders of wealth and influence sought to make a civil town of their liking, and they purchased large plots of land. The elders then built homes which they would sell at a profit, and their plan was to maintain ultimate control of the governing bureaucracies which they themselves established. It seemed like magic, the way the buildings of technology physically appeared miraculous in its growth. I considered the matter of living in this place and took my child self to the starting meeting of the elders to see about this young place. The charter was being written, taxes and bureaucratic structures were established, the nature of order was enforced. Then came zoning laws, noise ordinances, and permit structures. After all, no one wants a busy store in a quiet residential street, and no one wants loud music blaring after they have gone to sleep at night. And reasonable order needs to be established for the planning of events and protection of the public. Don Frankly Matter insisted that there could be no fluorescent or bright colors on the facade of a house. Mabel de Miserables insisted that gatherings of 5 or more people could not take place on the front or side of a home in the residential zone. George Smith added that any organization that divided people, such as religious institutions, could not own or rent buildings to promote such things, as this was their community, and they did not want this. And so it went until a 3,000-page charter was set in place. Soon the homes were ready, and the business began, but I did not buy into this town. The Wilsons were artists, and they adorned the windows of their new house with pretty blue shutters and a lovely matching mailbox with flowers painted on it. But a representative of the community association gave them notice that there could be none of that, as they would be fined for each day that this colorful stuff was in view. The Wilsons felt violated. It seems that they did not really read that 3,000-page document. The Gonzaleses celebrated their new home by having a small barbecue with a little music on a Sunday afternoon at 2 p.m. But a local officer of the law visited them. He explained that because there were 7 people there so far, that they had to move the gathering to a different location. They offered for the officer to join them, but that did not change the outcome, and the partying was stopped. Of course, the Gonzaleses' garden had to be replaced with lawn grass, as they certainly wanted to find a way out of our community. Mabel Jones taught Buddhist chanting, and she opened a small meeting place for a communal gathering. "We will have none of that," complained Mr. Smith, and the board of investors shut her down. And so it went until a large group was challenging the board in the court of federal law with dozens of lawsuits. It was at this time that the federal government identified a property they wanted for housing to enable individuals with special needs, and it was right near the center of town. The investors became unhappy and simply moved out of the town, selling their interest in the project and leaving the very town that they created. A new board created a new 20-page charter, and the village of our community was now called the Village of Community. The property values went down. Artists of all types and people seeking something new started to move in. Houses were adorned with wild artwork. People would gather everywhere to make music and art. Gardens started to appear where there used to be lawns. People knew their neighbors. This is the town that I and my child self will live in.